For this installment of the Scavenger Games experiments, we have a brand new test subject. This individual was chosen for its striking appearance, the purple coloration of their highlights winning the majority vote. This is subject 10474, codename Purpleback. They have above-average scores in most of their stats, possessing high levels of energy, mid-range, and melee skills. Their lowest score happens to be in aggression, surprisingly. The subject's cranial profile is much more elaborate than previous test subjects. You would think that with such impressive eartlers, the test subject would prove to be a competent hunter. For this test, I will put in an eel lizard. This specimen is a bit heavier than most. This particular test chamber features a variety of shortcuts that lead to a central alcove that offers a small amount of safety. It also serves as an adequate way to test a creature's pathfinding capabilities. Here we can observe the eel lizard as it struggles to comprehend its surroundings. It must figure out how to reach its target. Due to the test subject's low aggression stat, it chooses to flee from the predator rather than face it, despite practically being armed to the teeth. This test chamber is a bit on the larger side, and I admit that I got a little impatient and decided to add some extra pressure to the test subject in order to force a more proactive response. Fair enough. Let's respawn the test subject. Maybe now they'll start taking this experiment seriously after experiencing death. A scavenger with long back frills makes it easy to see just how stressed the test subject is. The more puffed out the frills are, the more alarmed the scavenger is. You may be wondering why the scavenger can seemingly pop in and out of the hole while the lizard can't. That's because this isn't a whack-a-mole hole. This is specifically a scavenger hole. Unfortunately, the eel lizard wins yet again. I'll give the test subject one last chance to make amends before we move on to the next phase of testing. I have seen enough. I grow bored of watching this fanciful scavenger's incompetence. Let us move on to the next phase of testing. Here we have subject 7576. Their scores in nearly all of their stats are pathetically low, like a dumb, fluffy white marshmallow. Typical short-eared scavenger with a propensity for dodging apparently. Next, we have subject 1648. This scavenger also has below average stats, but they have one trait which I find most intriguing. Not only do they have a long tail, but they also have odd whisker-like protrusions sprouting from the outside of their mandibles. I have yet to see any other scavenger displaying this physical trait. Some of you may recognize this next test subject. This is subject 3663. This is an erratic specimen with above-average scores in most of their stats. Once again, the only exception being their aggression stat. You would think that this scavenger would make for a great leader. Their ear tellers are even more elaborate than purplebacks, a sure sign that they are destined for greatness, right? I added a few adversaries for this test, just to bring in some variety to the experiment. The test subjects are quick to group up with each other and hastily try to navigate their environment. Then something strange happens. It appears as though something kills subject 1648. Rewinding the footage and running it at 20% speed shows who the culprit was. Murder. Plain and simple. It is unknown as to whether or not Subject Sylth had any malicious intent when throwing those spears, or if their aim is just so terrible that they end up resulting in friendly fire. Mind you, this is not the first time that Subject 3663 has seemingly committed murder, under the guise of trying to assist their fellow scavengers. Predictably, Purpleback once again succumbs to the dangers of the experiments. I go ahead and give Subject Toph a free revive, and they wake up none the wiser about Sylth's foul play. Meanwhile, Subject 7576 finds themselves becoming the target of harassment by the remaining wolf spider. Their dodging skill seems to be the only thing keeping them alive. Physically speaking, that is. I'm not sure how they are doing mentally. I might as well respawn Purpleback, even though I really shouldn't. They just die so quickly, I can hardly get any usable data. Perhaps Purpleback is just too fancy for this world. Karma finally enacts its will on Sylth. I'm not entirely sure where Subject Toph went, but I can only assume that they retreated to the off-screen room in the scavenger hole after being bitten once by the vulture. This leaves 2 subjects left.